Thanks for joining me for Life in Surround. As some of you may have noticed, I've been away for a while. I was desperately in need of some self-care, so I took a bit of a sabbatical, but I'm back. And what could draw me back to action? It is Rush Moving Pictures 40th anniversary. This is by far one of my favorite albums of all time. Rush are one of my favorite groups, and this is among their pinnacle albums. I would put Permanent Waves up there as well. And ask, 5 different Rush fans, and you might get 5 different answers. But, for me, that golden era of Terry Brown albums, and this is certainly among the very best. I have quite a long history with moving pictures. I don't know if some of you will remember this style of album from Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs with the gold discs and the tray that lifts the disc out for you. But I remember spinning this as a kid on my Sony Discman with Sony pretty decent headphones and just being blown away, just mind blown. Up until then, I was familiar with bands like, AC/DC and, oh gosh, Kenny Rogers and Bruce Springsteen, and just stuff that didn't approach this complexity. And a friend introduced me to Rush, and my world was changed. Okay, mind-blowing stuff. And, then fast-forwarding quite a bit, we got a deluxe edition about a decade ago, and that featured a CD and a Blu-ray. There might have been a DVD audio version as well, but in any case, Richard Chycki did the multi-channel mix, the 5.1 mix. And again, like I said, it was about a decade ago. And over the ensuing years, that mix has received, a variety of reaction. I have tended to fall on the positive side of that. The mix works pretty well for me. I think it could have been more adventurous, and I think it's missing the bell chime from Big Ben at the end of The Camera Eye. But other than that, it pays pretty good homage to the album in terms of the sound and the vibe, and pretty good attention to detail, and some really good surround moments showcased. But now we're in the Atmos era, and for this 40th anniversary set, not only has Mr. Chycki redone the 5.1 mix, and I have not heard that exclusively, but people whose ears I trust have told me that they consider it an improvement over the 2011 mix. And I have been able to hear the streaming Atmos version. And bottom line up front, I really enjoy it. I think it is a great mix. It pays great homage to the album, but it puts you in the middle of it. It makes ample use of surrounds and the Atmos speakers. And it's revelatory in the sense that you're going to hear vocal articulation that you never heard before. You're going to hear drum work in detail that you never heard before, nuances of the guitars and the bass lines. And I'm a fan of this Atmos mix. I really feel that Richard Chycki has nailed it once again. If you saw previously, a couple months back, I am very, very much a fan of his Atmos mix of Road Apples by the Tragically Hip. And so now here we have another Canadian rock band. It seems like Mr. Chycki really has his finger on the pulse of how to do Atmos for these Canadian rockers. And so I'm just very, very pleased that Moving Pictures has received this 40th anniversary release, that this album is being honored in such a way. There are a variety of packages available. I sadly cannot afford the SDE, so I have only heard the Atmos in the streaming rendition. That means I'm hearing it in a lossy format. Think of it as like MP3 for Atmos. But if you can afford the SDE, which ranges in price depending on how much of a bargain hound you are, from around $240 up to around $300, It comes with a Blu-ray, and on that you'll get some promo videos. You'll get Mr. Chycki's 5.1 mix. You'll get his Atmos mix, all lossless. And so that's what I would recommend in terms of ultimate sound quality if you can swing it. But there's also a 3 CD version, and then there's like this 5 LP version. Just to be supportive of a local record store, I went ahead and picked up this version. You can find this for under $100. And like I said, I've been getting into vinyl lately, so I don't know if I'll crack this open since I've been able to experience the album in Atmos streaming, and since I've been able to experience the complete 1981 Toronto concert on Apple Music, and that is streaming losslessly because streaming services can offer stereo in lossless. I'm not even sure if I'll ever crack that open. I may just leave it sealed. But one of these days I might get the itch to drop the needle on, say, the Toronto 1981 show. And so it's there if I want to. And, speaking of the SDE and the Blu-ray, if any of you are watching this and you determine that you don't need or want your Blu-ray, drop me a line. I'd be willing to work out a fair deal with you, and I would love to get my hands on that Blu-ray. Just can't swing the 240 plus for one album. It's a bit excessive, and I really hope that labels won't trend in this way. I appreciate labels that release these surround Blu-rays in a standalone format, or maybe just bundled with a CD in a much, much more modest package. There are lots of labels that are doing that. So you and me, if you're watching, please consider the fans. We aren't all made of gobs of money, okay? So that's just one criticism of how this was released. But, oh man, again, this concert, I don't want to leave you without going over it. Mixed by Terry Brown, by Brune himself. They brought him back for the Permanent Waves deluxe set to mix the live content there, and they brought him in on this one, again, to mix the live content. We get Live in YYZ 1981. YYZ is the airport code for Toronto, and of course it's one of the tracks from Moving Pictures. And we get the entire show. And I'm telling you, if you're not familiar, if you haven't heard 1981 bootleg from Rush, like Exit Stage Right, or one of the others available, this is an unparalleled set list. Not only in terms of Rush, I really feel this is them at or near their pinnacle, but also in terms of just any rock concert ever. I mean, you have, oh goodness, 2112, Farewell to Kings, Hemispheres, very well represented, Permanent Waves, well represented. 6 out of 7 tracks from Moving Pictures. They just didn't have the technology for Witch Hunt. And then we have the debut album represented. We have Fly By Night. This is just an incredible set list. It's well paced. It is nearly always exquisitely performed. I noticed a few human moments where, just the complexity of the material and maybe the pacing and just, the sheer logistics of being on stage with everything going on. A few moments where I felt some musicianship stumbled for just a second, but it just goes to show that Rush are human, and they're performing just extremely complex, extremely difficult material. And in my opinion, it also just is part of the charm. It gives the true sense that you're taking in a complete show, just like you bought a ticket and you went. It's not doctored. You're getting it warts and all, just from beginning to end. Complete 1981 show. And if I sound excited, it's because I am. This is just an incredible gift to the fans. I really only wish that Mr. Peart could be alive to see this amazing album honored in such a way. He really considered Moving Pictures to be the start of the true Rush, when they found their confidence and their sound. And his playing on this album, and particularly during this complete 1981 show, is just on fire. There are moments during the show where I feel like he's even just outdoing himself in terms of like some hi-hat figures that I just can't even like figure out how he's playing them. It sounds like he's got more than two arms. It's just incredible. And I'm just so grateful that I've been able to hear it. And I encourage you to also give it a listen, whether you're able to stream it on Apple Music, Tidal, or maybe some other service. Whether you go for the CD version, the LP version, the Super Deluxe version, which has everything, including the kitchen sink and a Red Barchetta replica car and some drumsticks. I encourage you, just enjoy Moving Pictures. 40th anniversary. Even though we're in the 41st year, I guess because of the pandemic, they had to delay this release a bit. But this is the 40th anniversary version. I'm so incredibly delighted and grateful to have experienced it, and I hope you do too. As always, I encourage you to leave your comments below. Let everybody know what you think about Moving Pictures, what you think about the 40th anniversary sets, what you think about the 5.1 or the Atmos mixing, Terry Brown's live mixing. I will note, I very rarely hear a live mix where guitars are on the left and bass guitar is on the right, and then the drums are spread across stereo and with the keys. But I believe Terry Brown's intention was to like give the feel of where Rush really were on stage. And it also gives this massive separation between drums, bass, and guitars, and I think that helps to like really take in all this articulation during the show. It's just incredible. So grab this set somehow and enjoy it. Leave your comments for us, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all that good stuff, and above all else, please live life in surround.